Recording. Here we go. Ooh, can I have a little bit of that water? Mm-hmm. Thank you, love.
You bet.
Here we go. So I'm going to read a little something here called The Iron and the Soul. And I'm going to say iron a lot. You can replace the word iron with any physical activity, whether it's yoga, martial arts, boxing, jiu-jitsu, riding your bike, whatever. Just replace that word. I believe that the definition of definition is reinvention. To not be like your parents, to not be like your friends, to be yourself completely. When I was young, I had no sense of myself. All I was a product of all the fear and humiliation I had suffered. Fear of my parents, the humiliation of teachers calling me garbage can and telling me I'd be mowing lawns for a living, and the very real terror of my fellow students. I was threatened and beaten up for the color of my skin and my size. I was skinny and clumsy. When others would tease me, I didn't run home crying, wondering why. I knew all too well. I was there to be antagonized. In sports, I was laughed at, a spaz. I was pretty good at boxing, but only because the rage that filled my every waking moment made me wild and unpredictable. I fought with some strange fury. The other boys thought I was crazy. I hated myself all the time. As stupid as it seems now, I wanted to talk like them, to dress like them, to carry myself with the ease of knowing that I wasn't going to get pounded in the hallway between classes. Years passed and I learned to keep it all inside. I only talked to a few boys in my grade, other losers. Some of them are to this day the greatest people I have ever known. Hang out with a guy who's had his head flushed down a toilet a few times, treat him with respect, and you'll find a faithful friend forever. Even with friends, school sucked. Teachers gave me a hard time. I didn't think much about them either. Then came Mr. Pepperman, my advisor. He was a powerfully built Vietnam veteran, and he was scary. No one ever talked out of turn in his class. Once, one kid did, and Mr. P lifted him off the ground and pinned him to the blackboard. Mr. P could see that I was in bad shape, and one Friday in October, he asked me if I had ever worked out with weights. I told him no. He told me that he was going to take some of the money, that I was going to take some of the money that I had saved and buy a 100-pound weight set from Sears. As I left his office, I started to think of the things I would say to him on Monday when he asked about the weights that I was not going to buy. Still, it made me feel special. My father never really got that close to caring. On Saturday, I bought the weights, and I couldn't even drag them to my mom's car. The attendant laughed at me as he put them on the dolly. Monday came, and I was called into Mr. P's office after school. He said he was going to show me how to work out. He was going to put me on a program and start hitting me in the solar plexus in the hallway when I wasn't looking. When I could take a punch, we would know that we were getting somewhere. At no time was I to look at myself in the mirror or tell anyone at school what I was doing. In the gym, he showed me 10 basic exercises. I paid more attention that day than I ever did in any of my classes. I didn't want to blow it. I went home that night and started right in. Weeks passed, and every once in a while, Mr. P would give me a shot and drop me in the hallway, sending my books flying. The other students didn't know what to think. More weeks passed, and I was steadily adding new weights to the bar. I could sense the power inside my body growing. I could feel it. Right before Christmas break, I was walking to class, and from out of nowhere, Mr. Peppermint appeared and gave me a shot in the chest. I laughed and kept going. He said I could look at myself now. I got home and ran to the bathroom and pulled off my shirt. I saw a body, not just the shell that housed my stomach and my heart. My biceps bulged. My chest had definition. I felt strong. It was the first time I can remember having a sense of myself. I had done something, and no one could ever take that away. It took me years to fully appreciate the value of the lessons I had learned from the iron. I used to think that it was my adversary, that I was trying to lift that which does not want to be lifted. I was wrong. When the iron doesn't want to come off the mat, it's the kindest thing it can do for you. If it flew up and went through the ceiling, it wouldn't teach you anything. That's the way the iron talks to you. It tells you that the material you work with is that which you will come to resemble. That which you work against will always work against you. It wasn't until my late 20s that I learned that by working out, I had given myself a great gift. I had learned that nothing comes without work and a certain amount of pain. When I finish a set that leaves me shaking, I know more about myself. When something gets bad, I know it can't be as bad as that workout. I used to fight the pain, but recently this has become clear to me. Pain is not my enemy. It is my call to greatness. When dealing with the iron, one must be careful to interpret the pain correctly. Most injuries involving the iron come from ego. I once spent a few weeks lifting weight that my body wasn't ready for, and spent a few months not picking up anything heavier than a fork. Try to lift what you're not prepared to, and the iron will teach you a little lesson in restraint and self-control. I have never truly met a strong person who didn't have self-respect. I think a lot of inwardly and outwardly directed contempt passes itself off as self-respect. The idea of raising yourself by stepping on someone's shoulders instead of doing it yourself. When I see guys work out for cosmetic reasons, I see vanity exposing them in the worst way as cartoon characters, billboards for imbalance and insecurity. Strength reveals itself through character. It is the difference between bouncers who get off strong-arming people and Mr. Peppermint. Muscle mass does not always equal strength. Strength is kindness and sensitivity. Strength is understanding that your power is both physical and emotional. It comes from the body and the mind and the heart. Yuko Mishima said that he could not entertain the idea of romance if he was not strong. Romance is such a strong and overwhelming passion, a weakened body cannot sustain it for long. I prefer to work out alone. It enables me to concentrate on the lessons that the iron has taught me. Learning about what you're made of is always time well spent. I have found no better teacher. The iron had taught me how to live. Life is capable of driving you out of your mind. The way it all comes down these days, it's some kind of miracle that you're not insane. People have become separated from their bodies. They are no longer whole. I see them move from their offices to their car and onto their suburban homes. They stress out constantly. They lose sleep. They eat badly, and they behave badly. Their egos run wild. They become motivated by that which will eventually give them a massive stroke. They need the iron mind. Throughout the years, I've combined meditation, action, and the iron into a single strength. I believe that when the body is strong, the mind thinks strong thoughts. Time spent away from the iron makes my mind degenerate. I wallow in a thick depression. My body shuts down my mind. The iron is the best antidepressant I have ever found. There is no better way to fight weakness than with strength. Once the mind and the body have become awakened to their true potential, it's impossible to turn back. The iron never lies to you. You can walk outside and listen to all kinds of talk. Get told that you're a god or a total bastard. The iron will always kick you the real deal. The iron is the greatest reference point, the all-knowing perspective giver, always there like a beacon in the pitch black. I have found the iron to be my greatest friend. It never freaks out on me, never runs. Friends may come and go, but 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. Friends, this is the Formless Podcast number 78 with my beautiful bride, Brighten, and me, Dustin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good for a take two. We started the first episode and didn't hit record because I can't remember to do that. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, and we've had a lot of fun and a lot of stress and a lot of all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm.
That was really, really good. I've heard it twice now.
It's even better the second time?
It's even better the second time.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I've read about 3 or 4 different versions of that. It's the basic same story, but a couple of small details changed.
And it is written by Henry Rollins,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
That's
that's
really,
one
really
of my
good.
favorite writers of all time.
For sure.
So this week, Tyler's finishing up his hunting trip. He got his draw into X4, so he's out hunting there. He just finished up. Heard from him. He'll be back next week.
Nice.
Yeah, and I recorded an episode last week that had all sorts of technical difficulties with, but we did a live version of that on Instagram. That was with my friend Randall Davis. He's the friendly kung fu bus driver in Colorado. Shout out to Randall. So we did that live. I recorded it with my gear here, but it didn't transfer well. So Mark has that. He is in the process of getting that done, but there's a funny story there. He was getting ready to take a cross-country trip and come visit us.
Yeah.
And he was sending me pictures along the way. And he's in Georgia, and the first picture was like Kentucky. And then he got into Tennessee, took a picture of Tennessee. I might have that reversed. And then he got to Illinois, took a picture, no picture of Illinois because it was too dark. He couldn't get a good shot of the state sign, welcome to Illinois.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I don't hear anything from him. And then he sends me a picture. I'm in Kentucky. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. That's backwards.
No.
So I called him. I'm like, what happened? What'd you forget? And he's like, well, I forgot I had to edit a podcast. So I was headed back.
Priorities. Sure.
Priorities. Yeah, priorities. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, you don't do that, And he's like, no, my car broke down and I'm driving back home to get my truck and trailer to go pick up my car, to bring it back so I can fix my car and then edit your podcast. So, so that one's in the can. It's ready to go. As soon as Mark puts his magic touches on it, we'll get that out. If you're dying to listen to that, you can find it in the reels for the Formless Pod, or at the Formless Pod. But in the meantime, we got to keep going. Whether or not anyone hears this, this is going to happen. So
right, one way or the other.
Onwards and upwards.
That's
always,
right.
Always.
Yeah.
But you have been finishing up school. You're like almost there.
So close, but so far. Yeah, halfway through this term, and then I have one more term, but I only have to go part-time.
And then what happens?
So then I graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Your what?
My bachelor's degree.
Your bachelor's degree.
Yeah, very excited.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, I'm really...
I never dated a college degree. Hold on, how do you say that? A person with a college degree?
A person with a college degree.
Yeah, that'll be hot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That'll be new.
Very cool.
I never had one before, so that'll be really exciting.
Really cool. And then what?
And then I am...
you're going to tell the whole world.
Wow, on the spot.
And they're going to hold you to it.
Right, yeah. No, I have been considering. Most likely I will.
No.
I'm very nervous.
No. Back the truck up.
Be applying for graduate school, so.
Graduate school.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a what now?
I'm going to go for my master's.
Awesome. Are you going to make everyone refer to you as master after that?
No. No.
You sure?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay.
No, it'll be fun. Yeah, so sign up for another 2 or 3 years.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I do love school though, so for me that's
not
the most awful thing ever.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you. I'm really grateful that you and the boys have been supporting me on this journey, and I've been able to do it. It's a blessing, and I realize I'm very lucky.
Well, one of the reasons why I brought this up is because I wanted to talk about it, because it was a leap. Like, there's no going back. Like, once you started that ball rolling,
right?
You know, we took student loans out. Yep. We got grants. We did all of this stuff, and it's a lot of stuff. And it was like
a lot of stuff.
It was
scary.
Like, yeah, it's scary. But the more important thing was, like, you can't quit.
No, you can't quit once you get that ball rolling.
Because, like, there's gonna come a reckoning. Like, there's gonna be people lining up at the door going, hey, you know, we gave you money to go to school.
Oh, the loans. Luckily, I didn't have to take out too many loans. Compared to what other people take out.
Yes, but
I did take out some, and I have enough from my account my grandma left me that I could pay, and that's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, I could just pay that off when I'm done. So I guess that eases my mind. But you're not wrong. Anytime you take out a loan, there's
consequences.
I mean, things could happen. Yeah. There are consequences, and that money could be spoken for other ways or whatever. But I'm pretty lucky that I'm going to graduate with my bachelor's in pretty good shape. But master's is a whole other ball game, and that's probably why it's pretty scary.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it has to be done. Is my point. Like, you started, and now it's like, you gotta finish through that, because you can't file bankruptcy on a student loan.
Right. Well, that's why I'm like, do I want to go for my master's? I don't know, because right now I could pay off my bachelor's.
I don't know about that. I could be wrong, but I think that,
maybe one of you guys can weigh in on that and make me have even more of a heart attack. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you're correct. I don't think you can file bankruptcy on a student loan, but I don't know that for sure. And a master's program is, I don't have enough money to pay for that. So that will definitely be a loan that will be coming due.
Well, and we'll figure that out when we get to it. But, it's, there's an analogy that I'm going to butcher about diving off a diving board. And, like, you can't, once you take that jump, you can't go, oh, wait a minute, I didn't want to do this. Mm-hmm. Like, you're already, gravity's got you and you're going down. Yeah. So it's like, better turn that into a dive instead of a belly flop. Yeah. And, so that's good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a lot of long days.
It's a lot of something.
A lot of, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm working right now.
Oh my goodness. The mom guilt is, I don't know if any of you moms out there, I've always been a stay-at-home mom and able to go to whatever my kids need me to go to and be there for them 24/7. And if they have something they need to talk out and hash out, I'm there. And since going back to school, I am hiding in my room for hours on end. And our youngest will come in and climb up on the bed, and I will snuggle him, and I will hug him, and I will reassure him that I will emerge from the room at some point. At least I'm home. You know what I mean? Like, he can come in and say hi to me. Yeah. I've always respected working mothers, for sure. But like just even more so now, because it's like, oh my goodness, just trying to juggle everything and emotions, and you're so busy. And like today I walked out of the bedroom and I was like, oh, I'm done. And immediately like 4 things needed my attention. I was just like, I don't know how people do this. This is brand new to me.
You just take, and then your husband's like, oh, we have to record a podcast tonight. And you're like, really?
Oh, okay. Cool.
You jackass.
I've never learned to just roll with things more in my life, I don't think. Maybe that's the lesson I'm supposed to be learning.
Maybe. There's no days off.
There are absolutely no days off.
Just work. There's no days off. And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. We find fun in other places.
Do we?
Find it where you can.
That's right.
That's right.
You're right. We do. We absolutely do.
I have so much fun. I always have fun.
That's good. That's a good way to be. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have to find why it's going to be a good day. Just keep telling yourself it's going to be a good day.
Absolutely. It's been incredibly busy, and busy's good because busy keeps me out of trouble. Yeah. Yeah. And I like that. I'm happier when I'm busy. And
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. What else happened this week? So we talked about the podcast, talked about school, got in some extra martial arts.
Yeah, you got in some extra martial arts. You should talk about what you did.
You did too. So Thursday's usually a really long day for me at work.
Yeah.
I have to travel. I got to go up into this mountain town, do a bunch of selling and work there, and then I come home, and it's usually a short day is like 10 hours, and it's really physically demanding because it's not a town that all of our team can get to. That we're lucky if we get there once a week. In the summertime, we might do it twice a week, but for the most part, it's once a week, and I'm it. So everything needs to get filled, everything needs to get worked, put away, cleaned up from the previous week. Just lots and lots of physical labor, which is fine. Not a problem with that. It just makes for a long day. And that's a day that I usually come home and take a nap or make dinner and let you guys go. But for some reason, our friend Blaine, who runs the school that we train at, called me, and I was so tired from the day that I looked at it and was like, I'll call him later. But then he called you. Yeah. And was like, can you guys please come down to class tonight? I got a surprise for you.
Right. Yeah. Well, he wanted you and Hunter to be there.
Yeah. For all the black belts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I almost didn't go, but I was kind of curious, and I'm a very curious person. Yeah. And so
you had to go.
We got everybody together and went down. It made for an incredibly long day, but it was awesome. So we walk in the door, and he's got a pile of bricks sitting there. Yeah. And he's like, you guys are going to break bricks today. Now, we don't normally do that. That is not something we do ever. Never done.
You guys have never done that, right?
Never done that. I've never attempted to do it. Never really sought it out. I was just more interested in learning martial arts, not necessarily like feats of strength or breaking bricks or boards or any of that stuff. So anyway, we do class, and we set this stuff up, and we talk all about hitting the bricks and like all the different techniques and how to move the body to actually do it. And then at the end of the class, we all go outside in the parking lot and break bricks. And I broke my brick. And it was really cool. It was really cool. Yeah. But it was one of those things where like I realized afterwards and thinking about it the next day and everything and feeling my arm just like super tender, that it's not something you can kind of commit to.
I can see that being true.
You have to like 100% follow through once you start. But it's weird there's this weird dynamic because your brain looks at this brick and goes, that's a hard concrete brick, not meant for you to hit it. It's not meant to be broken with your body, you know?
Yeah.
So your brain is just like reasoning all the reasons why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like you really have to like shove that out of the way and then go. And it took me a little bit to like get over that and like not think that way. And then I knew that once I went, I had to follow through, regardless of whether or I broke it or not. But like, I'm going to hit this. But like the minute I start, I got to finish. Like I can't stop halfway through because then I'll never do it and I'll never attempt it again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah,
There's
it was
a video.
fun to watch.
There's a video of it. Somebody filmed it for me, and I put it on my Instagram or on the Formless Pod Instagram, and shared it to my Facebook. But yeah, it was cool. I was super excited. I was really pumped to do it. But more importantly, it made me excited again.
Oh, nice. That's good.
It really like lit a fire under me and made me excited. And I saw it made others excited too.
Yeah, I bet.
Like there were some people that struggled with it.
100%.
Those people that did struggle with it, I just want to say to them especially that I know for a fact that they can do it.
Absolutely.
But it's 100% in their mind that they didn't do it.
I'm sure. I can't even imagine. Honestly, just anyone who gets up there and gives it a try
has my respect.
Sure. Like that is, yeah. Just watching it was so neat. But I was so nervous for all of you. Like every time someone came up, I was like, oh, I almost couldn't watch because I can't imagine it. And it's not like you're doing it in a room by yourself. Like everyone's watching. Everyone's got their phones out and they're recording.
Well, and
that just adds another element.
That adds to the pressure for sure. That adds definitely to the pressure there. Oh, did you have anything else you wanted to say about that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it was a very cool experience. Definitely got me thinking about trying to do it again. I'm going to wait a little bit But I think I'm going to do it again because it was fun and it was exciting. But there's one other thing that we got to talk about that I forgot. We're doing a contest. The actual date of the contest was supposed to finish today, but because of all of the chaos and all of the Tyler being gone, Mark trying to fix his car and not finishing the podcast and all of that stuff, we're going to extend it a little bit longer. Probably another 2 weeks. I don't know. I got to talk to Tyler when he gets back from his hunting trip and figure this out a little bit more. But we have to figure all of that logistics out. But never fear, we will do it. And I wanted to finish the book too. That's the other thing. We haven't finished the book yet. So we are going to finish the book. Probably that's probably what we'll do. We'll finish the book and announce that as the end of the contest, maybe. I don't know yet. Let me talk to Tyler and we'll get that figured out. But we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants on that. This is the first time we've tried to do that. We were trying to build some excitement into the podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it worked out. Anyway, the whole thing with the podcast, with the contest not being final yet, that's on me, and I take full responsibility for that. That's been that falls on my shoulders completely. And if there's grievances or any hard feelings about that, reach out to me, and I will do what I can to fix that. But that just know we haven't finished it yet, and you still got a chance to win the copy of the book. Yeah, that's
This isn't final yet.
that's not final yet.
Push it back.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah, if you still want to get in on that, send in a postcard with your address and name and all of that, or easier, buy something on our website, theformlesspod.com. We have t-shirts, sweaters, hats, coffee mugs, pillows, tote bags, stickers. Any one of those gets you an entry, and we could take care of you from there. Also, most importantly, there goes the refrigerator. We have a YouTube channel, The Formless Pod, on YouTube. We need 50 subscribers. We are at 36 or 37. If we get to 50, we could do a live stream. And that's one of the things that Tyler and I have been talking about since we started, would be to do a live stream and like maybe kick some bags, maybe punch some stuff, maybe like do a workout session or a training session live, and it'd be kind of fun. But we want to be able to do that. And for that to happen, we need 50 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. We post our podcasts on there. We post the unedited version, what you're seeing if you're watching it now. And then we have the audio version, audio only version, that goes up as well. It's all cleaned up and pretty because Mark's awesome. But yeah, if you could do that, do me a solid and subscribe. That would be awesome, because then we could do a live stream. We have been doing live chats on the podcast or on the YouTube channel, which has been fun and awesome. It reminds me of the old AOL days.
Totally.
But it would be really cool to do a live stream.
Now, what's the difference between
live
what you guys
stream
have been
is
doing and
we're
a live
on
stream?
camera. It's going live right now
as you're recording,
and people could chime in still, just like the live chats. But we can talk to people instead of us typing. We can talk to them.
That'd be really
their
cool.
comments.
Now, would you do an episode live? Is that how that would work?
I don't know yet. I don't know if we're gonna have to work on that, because I don't know if we'd do a live episode. Probably not.
Okay.
We'd probably do something like hit some pads or something, maybe do a workout session or something like that.
Not necessarily like an episode.
Not just not an episode,
people.
but just an interaction thing.
Gotcha.
Just say hi, say thank you. I personally want to hit stuff because that's fun, like kicking the bags and hitting each other and all of that kind of thing. So,
of course,
with protective gear, obviously, not beating each other up, but it just would be kind of cool. Add a new dynamic to things. Yeah. But that's just kind of all the quick updates I think I wanted to do today. And talk about a little bit about where we're at and what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Not giving up. Keep going. Don't quit. Commit. If you're going to do something, go for it. I'm looking at you because I'm a complainer. Like, I freely admit that. I will whine and cry and moan and just mope about stuff, but I'll show up to work the next day. I'll do it. And I think you're a little bit of the same.
Boy, I can relate.
You will do the same thing.
I will
talk about how hard it is and
whine and
it's so tough, but you always show up.
And I will be there. Yeah.
And it's funny. I was listening to a podcast about there were some veterans, and they were talking about a buddy of theirs, and how they would always say, this guy was always like, every time they'd go out on a mission or a job, it's like, I don't know, man, I don't feel good about this. I got a bad feeling about this. Like every single one, he'd go out and he'd be like, this is it. This is my number's up. We're gonna bite it. This is bad, man. I feel it. And then they go on the mission, and like sometimes nothing would happen. Like they wouldn't see anything. They wouldn't have any contact. Nothing had happened. And they'd go back, and then they'd go out again the next day, and it was like the same thing over and over again.
I
That's
can't
me.
imagine. But then he's there. Like,
But he's there.
showing up and he's doing
Yeah.
it. And yeah, that's pretty relatable. I think that's part of the reason why I'm just like, I don't know if I want to sign up for 2 or 3 more years of school. Like,
But you will.
it's a lot.
You will.
It's a big commitment.
You will.
I'm not great with
You will.
commitment.
You will.
I know that's really
You're
what
gonna
you
make it.
want, but I just have to think.
That's what you want to.
It is, but it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment.
And I'm only saying this because it is what you want. You told me it's what you want.
It is what I want, but I worry, like, is it now the time? Is it a
It's
good
never
time?
the time.
You know,
It's
our
never
kids
the
aren't getting
time.
any younger. This is my last few years with my older 2.
All of those excuses are valid, but it'll never be the right time. And I've learned this. I think this is one of the most important lessons I learned with martial arts. It's extra activity. I don't...
School? Or
School,
martial arts?
martial arts.
Whatever you're doing.
All of that stuff is an extra activity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do martial arts, and I can still have a life.
Yeah.
It'll be miserable, but I can still have a life. I will still function. I will still go to work. I will still have bills to pay. I will still watch TV. I will still drive my car. You can not go to school, and you will still have all of those things. But you won't have the finished product. You won't have school.
But I will. I will have my bachelor's.
Yes, you will.
I will have a
your
finished
bachelor's,
project, just not
but this is
a finished
But
project.
this is almost worse.
What do you mean?
So, what I mean by that is if you stop, because your initial goal was to get your master's degree before we started.
Actually, it was not.
Oh.
If you recall, my initial goal was to get my bachelor's.
Okay.
Some very trusted and great friends
Dear
of ours
friends.
recommended that I don't stop there and I keep going.
Okay.
So if you recall, that was not my initial goal.
I'm proven wrong yet again for the whole entire world to
Perfect.
hear.
Good. Now we have like
All
witnesses.
All 100, 500 listeners.
Who don't care anymore.
I'm proven wrong yet again. Okay.
But
well,
it is a goal.
Lesson right out the window. Thanks for ruining
Sorry,
my podcast.
I didn't mean to ruin the podcast or the lesson. I just want to make sure you're thinking the same way I'm thinking.
No worries.
We could definitely do like a marriage podcast, and like other married couples could like chime in, and I'm just curious if other couples see things differently. Like, I feel like you have one thing and you're like, no, it's like this, and I have another thing and I'm like, no, it's like that.
Hold on. I got my story mixed up. I apologize. Yeah. I forgot. But the lesson that I was trying to share with you that I have learned.
Okay.
If you stop halfway through, you'll never learn whether or not you could go all the way. And you're more than halfway through. You're like 6/10 of the way there. More than that. You're like 9.
Depending on which program. Because some programs go 2 years, some go 4.
You're like 9/10 of the way there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Something like that. And you're right. If I wanted to do
whatever fraction you want. But you're almost there.
To do what I really wanted to do in this field, I would need a master's.
Exactly.
So you're right. I would be stopping short.
So I'm not 100% wrong.
You're right in some aspects.
I am right in some aspects.
Yeah,
okay. Hear that? I am correct.
Right.
Not 100%, but I am somewhat correct.
50. It's 50-50. You get 50 and I get 50. We both are right.
All right, whatever. Anyway. My point that I was trying to make, which I hopefully didn't forget, is that if you were to quit now, there would be a part of you that was always wondering, that was always like, oh, I could almost do it. And the previous point I was trying to make is this is all extra stuff. You don't have to do this to, like, your life will continue. You will continue to have a healthy, happy life.
I can go back to being a stay-at-home
mom. Yeah. And you could go back to doing all the things
problems.
you're doing. But are you going to grow?
Yeah.
There's no growth without struggle.
I should be growing a lot.
You are growing a lot. You don't see it. That's the other thing that sucks about all that stuff. When you're training, when you're studying, when you're working on something, when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to gain weight, when you're trying to do something to improve yourself, you're so into the mire of it that it's really hard to recognize for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you have a good friend or somebody that cares about you that goes, hey, I noticed this about you. I noticed that you're really working hard. Or I noticed you lost weight. Or I noticed you're more flexible. Or I noticed you've improved.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, you stop and take a minute and go, oh, wow. Whoa, I hadn't noticed I was so busy.
Yeah.
So I was working, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's okay to step back and take a look around and go, yeah, look how far I've gone. But don't rest there. Don't rest there. Like, keep going. Keep working.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like you're kicking the can down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see the final, like, the finish line or something.
The goal line.
The goal line. And then someone kind of kicks it and they're like, oh, actually the goal line is
a little further down.
It's a little further. And you're like, oh, darn. Okay, well, I could just make it to the one goal line. I can make it to that goal line.
I'll make it to the original line before you kick the can.
Maybe I'm going to, like, grab a chair and, like, you know, sit in the sun and
talk about how I made it to the original goal line.
before I even look at that other goal line. Like, and that's my thing. Like, I need a time to stew and think and process. And, like, with this, there's, like, been no time. It's like you need to make up your mind and you need to keep going. And it's just, I struggle with that. I have to think everything to death before I can do it. And so that's just hard for me personally. So that's why I always say maybe or I might or I'm thinking about. Because once I commit, then all that panic sets in and I'm like, that's done. I'm committed.
Rest my case.
The last time I'll ever be on the podcast.
Nope, not at all.
Tyler's coming back.
Not at all. Tyler's coming back next week, though.
Yeah, good thing.
Good thing.
He won't ruin your lessons.
No. Well, I think that we've embarrassed ourselves.
Probably.
And each other.
Yeah, we've overshared and.
Oh no, we didn't overshare. I mean, we could overshare.
We could, but let's not.
Okay, I won't. You want to call it then? Are you tired?
I'm good if you are. I am tired.
I think we're good, friends. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to us. Please, like I said earlier, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a listen. Give us a shout out. If you have questions, comments, want to be a part of our show in some way, some form, you can reach out on our social media. We have a Facebook group called The Formless Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at The Formless Pod. You can check out our YouTube channel, The Formless Pod. And check out our website where you can buy shirts and hats and coffee mugs and all sorts of wonderful things at formlesspod.com. We'll see you next week. I love you.
I love you too.